Welcome back to the Husky
back.
Raid podcast.
Welcome.
There's my hand.
Last episode was the Deuce, so is this the Trace or?
It's Très Bien.
It is Très Bien, but that's not what that means.
Doesn't mean three good?
Three's Company.
Three's
Company.
Come and knock on the door.
We'll be waiting for you.
Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's Company too.
Wow.
R.I.P. John Ritter.
Yeah. Speaking of death, oh my goodness.
Kenny Baker's.
Kenny Baker.
Kenny Baker.
Kenny Baker. There he is.
R2.
There he is.
There he
himself.
is.
Sad beeps and bloops. Sad stuff.
Yeah.
He brought a tin can to life, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yep. Welcome back to the Husky Raid
Another fun
podcast.
news.
This week, this week we're talking a little bit about Destiny Cops. We're gonna fill you in there. We're gonna talk about Star Wars, the Rogue One trailer.
Woo!
And we're going to talk about Nintendo and just kind of fan remakes, translations, all sorts of stuff.
All things that they hate.
All things that Nintendo seems to hate. Yeah. Well, let's get started. Destiny news. Destiny Cops news.
Yeah, the Destiny Cops Season 1 finale. It is up there.
I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Yeah,
it's
so-
terrible.
So Season 1 is over of Destiny Cops,
Yeah.
and work on Season 2 has begun.
Oh,
I was working on writing it before I arrived.
Working
for this
on writing
podcast.
it.
Mhm.
Yes.
so is anything written
An outline for the season
for the whole season?
Yep.
is
Nice.
essentially
Yeah.
done. Yes.
And we're talking about all the different episodes, getting specific, and then the next step is getting those scripts.
we're
going
we're gonna start work on episode 1 in full force very soon with the writing.
and we're very excited for episode 1.
Oh, it's gonna be something special.
Any expectation timeline when we will see this out?
a couple months.
Maybe, hopefully.
Just kidding.
I think a couple months is reasonable for the scripting to be done.
Yeah.
Even
Yes.
if we really
Uh-huh.
buckle down and put our hearts into filming, just like 2 or 3 years. Before we're done
Okay.
with the rest.
That makes
Yep.
sense. Yeah.
So we're
Good
we're
timeline.
gonna get it done as fast as we can, but I mean, there's no date, there's no even like season that we know right now where we could have it done.
People would just start sending me cash, I could quit my day job, and then I could write all day, every day, and it'd be done in no time. So just
You heard it here.
send me cash.
Send
You want
Scott
Destiny
cash
Cops.
money.
You know what needs to happen.
I accept change.
oh yeah.
It's
I mean,
fine.
it
Any
all
amount
adds up.
helps. Yeah,
Let's put a PO box in the
perfect.
in the
How do you
comments.
I don't even know how to set up a PO box.
You go to the post office.
Yeah,
and
Is
Yeah,
that why
ask
it's
for
called
it.
I
a
bet
post office box?
Yeah. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
So how did the live stream go? Let's start
It was
there.
awesome. It's
Yeah?
so we
Way better than I thought it would.
How many
be.
viewers?
Around
We had over 200
250
for a
something at one
while.
point, Yeah.
and so, but yeah, like 250 it got up to
Yeah,
probably,
which
right?
That's great.
Insane for us. We're used to like 40.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like 12, just depending what we're streaming. But it was a blast because we were just rewatching the season and just talking about the shooting of each scene and like funny things that happened, and
Yeah.
it was great. So that whole stream is up on our channel in the Destiny Cops playlist. Really,
Yeah. Great.
I forgot how funny I am. And watching those episodes, let me tell you. Oh, hilarious stuff. Although I'd say the greatest moment of the whole time was in episode 8 when that astronaut showed up.
oh yeah, the astronaut.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
Best character.
It was crazy.
Most
That-
characterization. I mean, just
Jeez, so
Yeah.
good.
character development, all of that good stuff. Well, for those of you who have not seen the finale yet, we'll put a link here.
That's bull crap because now I have to put a link there.
yeah.
Right. That's right.
Scott will put a link
Or-
here as well.
yeah.
Or
totally.
you could click over by Kyle.
Oh, what's that? We lost the video feed and now it's just an image of the link. Darn it.
Oh, we're trying to figure this out, folks. We really are. Yeah, for those of you who are new, make sure you check out the Husky Raid YouTube. Subscribe. You'll get the video of this podcast.
Just great.
If you are not a video person, make sure you check us out on iTunes. It's just Husky Raid on your podcast app. and you can listen to the first 2 episodes and this one as soon as they get uploaded. So
And there goes the
And
video.
there goes the video.
And there
For
goes
real.
the video.
Perfect.
For real.
We got about a little bit of time.
Whew.
Got a
We're
little
really
bit of
nailing
time.
this.
Nailing the video.
Oh. Well, let's put something entertaining up.
On there. We'll just play the Rogue One trailer with no sound the whole time. Get this pulled down from YouTube immediately.
Yeah. Well, we'll mirror it and reverse it upside down and
I'll
do
do
all
it.
that
I'll
good
put a
stuff.
bunch of filters on it, make it unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's all sepia, which I think the trailer should have been shot in anyways.
Sepia.
Do you need to
Sepia.
fix that?
Is there any way we can fix it? Could we
I'm going to work
pause
on it.
and try to fix it. So we're gonna insert a pause
Here.
now.
Okay. All right.
And fixed.
Hopefully.
It looks different. Weird.
It looks the same.
Of course.
I
And it
used
See my
keeps-
whole
magic to-
body.
and it keeps like trying to focus on our faces.
Really
too.
judgmental.
Ooh.
You probably should turn that autofocus off, huh, Kyle?
Jeepers.
Oh, good. So we're not gonna pause this time. Let's just berate Kyle as he
Yep, as he fixes it, we'll
Yeah.
just talk through it.
talk
You can
through
enjoy
him. Yeah.
Kyle's butt and now Kyle's crotch.
Yeah. Yes. Look at that body.
What
up
have we? What
close.
were we talking about? I don't even remember.
Jeez, I have no idea. We said something about. Well, we think we were done talking about Destiny Cops.
I think
and
so.
It was time to move on.
I think so. Time to talk about that
Da, da,
that Rogue One trailer.
da, 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 da.
Man, there's no way this YouTube station's staying up for long.
Oh no, not. Whoa! What just happened to the camera, Kyle? What are you?
I switched it to video.
He switched it to video. I see.
This is fantastic.
I don't know what he's doing. He's just an idiot.
Well, I'm
Well-
gonna defer to you
Defer to me on the.
on the beginning of the Rogue One trailer. I've seen it once. How many times have you watched it?
I've actually only watched it like 3 times.
3 times. Okay.
And I've watched an analysis of it. As
Okay.
well, which was interesting. I don't want to. I don't know if I should spoil, but.
I
yeah,
mean, everyone can go and watch an analysis.
I suppose. So I mean, there might be spoilers for the plot here.
Well, as you
But it's a
watched it,
prequel.
that's okay. We'll get to that. That's bugging me too. What were your first impressions just of watching the trailer?
It looks cool, but I don't know if I'm like, if I could possibly reach the same levels of hype that I was at for The Force Awakens. That's basically, I was like, all right, this looks like interesting. Kind of, I don't know. I'm always skeptical of prequels and going back. So
Yeah, I had that feeling too. Now I agree. It looks really cool.
it's a unique Star Wars feel.
It's got a gritty look to it.
Yeah,
And I think that's probably what they're going for, if I had to guess.
I would agree.
Where with the most recent, with The Force Awakens, it looked like one of the old films. I mean, it looked
yeah,
like it fit right in. The
Perfectly.
color, saturation, everything was exactly the same. And so now we're going back, taking a different look. It definitely feels darker, grittier.
definitely darker. And I don't know. Like I said, we were talking earlier. I said like it feels like they went for that same like Guardians of the Galaxy Suicide Squad approach with like a band of misfits
Mhm.
that are all tasked with something really important.
Yeah, and that leaves me a little skeptical because we've seen enough movies with
Yeah.
bands of
But
misfits.
it can work.
But it does work for the the tone of the show and the movie and the series. But we know where it's going. We know
do.
where it's going to end, and we know all of that. Why do we go and watch it?
For Darth Vader.
For Darth Vader?
To see Darth Vader show up.
Just the back of his head.
Yeah. Did our video quality change again? What's Kyle up to?
What is Kyle up to?
You can't turn it. Oh my gosh. This is
Really?
the worst. I would feel like you would have to be able to turn it off. But Darth Vader, he's
Yes,
going to
Darth
be in
Vader.
it.
How long do you think will he be in it?
I give Darth Vader 10 minutes of screen time, probably.
10 minutes. Who's going to
But
play him?
I think they got James Earl Jones's voice. Actually, he does one of the cartoons right now. He does Star Wars Rebels still.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
That'd be good.
I think I read somewhere that they like had James Earl Jones record a bunch of Star Warsy stuff to be Darth Vader in case he dies.
Oh man.
I
That's
hope that's
sad.
true.
But good insurance.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They can just like how they like to digitally recreate actors these days. They can just digitally recreate his voice.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way he'll play him physically.
No.
So I do always wonder who's going to be in the suit,
Because it was,
if it
I
matters.
believe it's that Scottish guy in the originals.
Well, it was 3 different guys,
No.
right?
Well, it's the guy in the suit is always the same guy in the
Mhm.
original 3 movies, and then it's voiced by James Earl Jones,
And then
it's that
at the very
fat
end,
blob guy in
Yeah.
Jedi.
yeah, so 3 guys.
Yeah, 3 guys.
essentially.
But in Revenge of the Sith, I do believe it was actually Hayden Christensen in the suit. Yes, he wanted.
Without his legs, did they actually chop?
Yeah, they
his
chopped
legs
off.
Is that why
That's
we haven't seen him?
He hasn't acted in anything since then for a
Because
reason. Yeah,
he's got peg legs.
he does.
the poor
Nobody
guy.
wants to see peg legs.
Peg
let's
leg
look back at
Christensen.
Kyle. See how his progress is going. Eh?
Yeah?
Yep. Go for that home improvement vibe. I heard actually Darth Vader might not be the only returning villain.
Oh, really?
I read that they were trying to digitally recreate Grand Moff Tarkin,
Ooh,
played by
interesting.
Peter Cushing in the original. Guy who was in Van Helsing
Yes.
and all that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
One thing I saw was that they were having trouble because they couldn't find any shots of his legs to digitally recreate them. As if that's the hard part of digitally recreating a human
Give
being.
him legs.
Yeah. They can't just give him gray pants and some boots.
Digitize someone else's legs that, another 60-year-old man's legs.
Possibly the stupidest excuse.
I
of all
think
time.
so.
I don't know why they would even put him in it, though. Like,
Story-wise, yeah.
yeah.
Does he need to be in it, really, is the question.
I don't think he does. Because I like the look of the new
Mm-hmm.
guy who I assume is the villain, who's
Mhm.
like Grand Moff Tarkin Light or whatever he
Yeah.
is. He's like all white.
Tarkin Light,
Yeah.
coming to a Kroger near you.
Get your Tarkin Zero as well.
Get your
coming
Tarkin
in.
Zero.
Oh,
Tarkin
gosh.
Crystal.
Ugh.
Pepsi Crystal is back.
I know that.
Have you tried it yet?
I haven't because it's just Pepsi, but they didn't put any food coloring in it, and they want to charge me more for it, and I'm not gonna fall for that.
Yeah, but without the food coloring, it tastes different.
Does it? Can you
I
taste the
would
food
assume.
coloring? I don't know about that.
I don't know. I would think Kyle, as the Pepsi connoisseur, would
Kyle
try it,
does
but,
have a Pepsi.
but we're just getting
on
a
the
real nice
desk.
shot of his stomach.
Just his gut. Isn't this great
That
to
Pepsi
listen
gut.
to?
You're taking this part out, right?
No, this is in.
This is what we are
This is
recording.
in the
You're gonna
podcast.
see me playing on Google?
Yeah. This whole time.
I was playing on Google.
This is all going in. I hope you're prepared for it.
Well,
Just keep on fidgeting, Kyle. We'll keep talking about Jyn Erso and how she looks cool. The new chick.
Yeah, no, I did like watching the trailer. I immediately thought, and maybe this is just where my head goes. There is a good mix of ethnicities, races,
Yeah,
all of
they
that
really
good
hit
stuff.
all the marks.
They got it all in there, and I think that will please some people, and other people will of course just kind of laugh
think
and be
they're
like,
being
well, they had to
pandered
do
to.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they had to do that, but.
Yeah,
but-
naturally.
I mean, it makes sense when we live in space that we would have aliens. If anything, I wanted more aliens.
I would agree. There's no weirdos on the team. No Admiral Akbars gaining their
and
stripes.
I hope
would
we
be
get
into
that. Yes, that'd be great. That's the backstory we all want.
We
is
want-
Akbar becoming
Yeah.
Admirable Akbar. Test number 1: is this a trap? Yes or no?
And then he fails in
And then he
this.
fails the first one.
And then it's his emotional motif is that by Jedi he
Yep.
recognizes when it is.
That's the
indeed a
first
trap.
time. That's
Yeah.
the first time.
Because that'd be perfect if there was a moment in this movie where they were all like trapped by Vader and they all die except for him.
No,
yes, this
that
is-
was the trap.
yeah.
Ah,
I'd
that'd be
really into
that'd be
that.
fantastic.
I really need Kyle to sit down now and just I don't know what he's doing still. I don't just give up.
Get to work.
Just give up on it.
Huh?
Just sit
No,
down.
I actually finally got it to.
Well, yet you're still standing after all these years.
If we're gonna be on video, we're gonna have to start doing makeup.
Yeah, I'm gonna start hitting the gym more.
Good. That's needed.
There we go, and video back.
Ah,
There
I
we
was
go.
here the whole time. I'm putting it all in.
No, you are not.
We look beautiful.
Yeah. All right, Kyle. What were your thoughts of the Rogue One
trailer.
trailer?
It's pretty cool. Like you guys said, it's super different, and so it's just Star Wars has been one thing for a while. The old movies, at least, the prequels are pretty different from the other ones, but we don't talk of the prequels.
This is a prequel, but we won't talk about the other prequels.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why they're bringing out a new prequel so that
people can't just say
we
the
can't just
prequels
say, "Oh, I
suck."
hate the prequels," but then you have to specify, "I hate the prequels that are older than the new
If
prequels."
they don't want me to hate the prequels, then they need to stop production on some of the films that they're making. But we'll get into that in a bit.
So this is a prequel
Yeah.
but it's after the first
It's
three
only-
prequels.
Yes, but it's not really I don't feel like it's building on the first three prequels. I don't feel like it's really trying to
building on the original
Yeah,
trilogy.
it clearly seems inspired only by the original trilogy. Like if the other prequels had never been made, this one would still exist, I feel like. Could exist. I don't think they're drawing a lot of like, oh, let's reference back to
my big
Jetster.
I mean, what about Jar Jar? Is he going to
yeah,
show
that's
up?
my biggest
Yeah,
hope is
you
that
think-
Jar Jar's in this one. Everybody wants him back.
I hope that they show him on the planet that they show him on Alderaan before the.
But how cool would that be? How cool would that be if they did him non-digital? It was like true costume, and they redeemed Jar Jar.
Is that possible to redeem Jar
No,
Jar?
they-
You can't redeem the Jamaican cartoon frog rabbit.
that is responsible for Palpatine coming to power.
The destruction of
So-
the Galactic Senate.
He is
I
unrescuable.
have hope.
Ugh.
Hopeless
A
romantic.
New Hope.
A new hope.
Garbage.
Yeah, I think Rogue One looks pretty sweet. I'm excited for it. I
It
think
feels
it's,
the realist of the Star Wars.
Yeah,
the
it
raw.
feels-
Like I think it's the shot when he fires like a rocket launcher at an AT-AT that I'm like, that is like, I don't think I've seen a rocket launcher in Star Wars before.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's weird.
Well, and it feels the most believable, so to speak, when we get war and we get the battles, because when we just learn about what the rebels are doing in the original trilogy,
yeah.
it's all the rebels are doing this, and then maybe our guys
our
will
three
show
heroes
up.
are
Yeah,
having a great fun adventure.
yeah, screwing around.
Yeah.
One of them
Making
gets
a mess of
frozen,
the
I
Empire.
guess. That's it. Like
But this is war. I mean, this is battle.
If there's
this
something
is what
I
people's
needed, it was a
livelihood.
gritty look at the harsh realities of war in
Yeah.
the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I wanted to have like Saving Private Ryan-esque beach run, like Ad-Ats blowing
yes.
guys' intestines out. Like
I think we'll get that.
good. That's what
Dream
we need.
come true.
Yes.
one of my questions about the movie though is what role is the Force going to play in this movie? Any role at all?
Interesting, because that old Asian blind man,
Yes.
he mentions the Force, but he's obviously not a Jedi. or
He doesn't
maybe
seem to
is.
use the Force other than he fights and
He fights
wins.
stormtroopers with a staff, and they have guns. That's pretty like Force usury.
Yeah.
My question is anyone in the main squad going to live, do you think, by the end of this movie? Are they all dead?
I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't want to do that. They would want to have this movie build on something other than just A New Hope and have a new character be around. Something.
Do they have like Jyn Erso suddenly shows up in episode 9 and you're like, oh, okay. She's from
just super
Rogue One.
old.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a question. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because I swear it almost seems like she's going to go down in the trailer. She's like walking toward the TIE fighter, and it looks to me like she's on some sort of transmission beacon. Like she has already transmitted the plans, and maybe she's just like taking a last stand against this TIE fighter. Like it's too late. Type 5.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if some people don't make it out of that movie. If everybody died.
I'm expecting a full-on Halo Reach. They all die by the end.
They all die by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great
I
game.
could see that.
But I learned something about Star Wars while watching like a thing that leaked details of the plot that I didn't know before, which is that the Death Star is powered by the same crystals that they make lightsabers from.
Oh, I actually knew the laser
know
part,
that.
right?
I didn't know that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, the laser is supposed. It's like a giant lightsaber
and,
beam.
Allegedly, the planet that like the temple city or whatever that part of this takes place on is the Empire trying to get the crystal to power the Death Star's beam.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that'll be cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that'll be getting backstory about that will be interesting.
And there's some cool shots of that Death Star, like the eclipse in the trailer.
When they're putting
and
the
like,
satellite like dish onto
yeah.
it.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Oh, so Darth Vader can get Dish Network.
Yeah.
I assume.
Well, DirecTV.
He wants
probably,
the Big Ten network.
He needs the Big Ten Network.
Big Ten network.
With Give Me a Hand, Sean Meehan at the helm
Yeah.
of all his favorite female volleyball games. But Star Wars movies that sound terrible, that I don't want when it comes to prequels, that they're going to make me hate, is that Han Solo movie.
Yeah. What has leaked information-wise about that?
I read that one of their, this could be completely false, but one of their top choices to play young Lando Calrissian is Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
From Community fame and the new show Atlanta premiering on FX soon.
Which looks interesting.
That looks promising.
Looks interesting.
I like Donald Glover. I think
he's
hilarious.
The childish Gambino.
Yeah, the childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's really funny.
He's a very talented guy.
I like the movie that he and his friends made, Mystery Team. I enjoyed that.
I haven't actually watched that. It's on Amazon Prime, though, so I should probably see it.
Yes, definitely worth watching. It's funny. Aubrey Plaza's in it. It's all over the place.
All right.
But let's imagine him as Lando, who is kind of an exaggerated character.
He's a very smooth talking
black man.
stereotype.
Billy D. Williams, obviously too old to play him in a prequel, unfortunately,
if you say so.
but
black don't crack.
eternally young. I mean, but who else? I mean, who else could you think?
Do it? You know what? If they want to pick someone that I can't hate, they picked a good person, because I don't feel like I can hate. Yeah. I can't be like, ugh, I hate Donald Glover.
He's got a lot of nerds behind him.
Yeah.
A lot of us support
a lot of
him.
nerds behind him. Yeah.
Which I'm more behind him than, I don't even remember who they cast as Han Solo, but it wasn't Han Solo because it's not Harrison Ford, so I'm immediately opposed to the whole thing.
No, yeah, I haven't seen anything that the kid's in, but he's in movies that I recognized. Oh, those are movies that are out right now.
Yeah, I'll never be able to get behind casting somebody as one of the most iconic film characters of all time. Like,
it's hard. It's a risky movie, you know.
Yeah,
like
he's got to be the same age almost.
You know, like you talk about, he is, apart from Darth Vader, he is the Star Wars icon, I would say. I mean, you know,
he's the reason our moms went and saw it in the 70s for Harrison Ford.
For Harrison Ford. Yeah. And so you have this prequel movie that's just such a high risk movie, you know, like you have to get it right, or else the entire internet's gonna, internet and, my parents will get, they'll be like, oh, it was okay, but if they end up seeing it.
Well, but, and that's the question. When you have these prequels, you have, think about any comic book movie. Is in the same vein. You bring it out, you're bound to make a ton of money.
Oh yeah,
even if it's
even Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad,
a ton of money, and it's hot trash.
Yeah,
so. It's hot trash.
I mean, is it a risk?
It's
when you look at it financially.
No, I think that's their main motivation for making this movie. I think they sit around and they say, what kind of Star Wars movies can we make? Because we want to make a lot. That's what Disney basically said. And so they come out with this Rogue One idea, I think. And they say, well, we could build on some characters. And then they have Han Solo, biggest character, one of their biggest characters. I think that it's a huge motivation. They spent a ton of money on buying Star Wars. They're going to put out these movies.
Which is interesting because you look at the Marvel universe, and there are more hits than misses.
Yes.
When we talk about what's been brought out in the last 5, 6, 7 years, that Disney is not normally a company that would just produce and produce and produce, unless we look at like their TV shows and things like that. But you look at their movies, it's an animated movie maybe every 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not here's one. So it just seems out of place that
it's not, this movie will make a lot of money, this Han Solo one, and it's not necessarily a risk on the individual movie, but I think they risk losing a lot of the goodwill that they earned back of Star Wars fans.
You think so?
After The Force Awakens. Because to me, I was like, The Force Awakens, this is exactly what I want Star Wars to be again.
Well, so what would you want to make a good Han Solo prequel backstory? What makes it good?
That's the problem. Is
I don't
have
want it
the
at all.
we don't have the answer to that question.
One
and
of the
so-
most compelling parts about Han Solo is that I don't really know anything
Mm-hmm.
about him. He's just kind of like a charming guy. I don't really want
Charming
to know.
smuggler.
and they've
I
come
mean-
out and said that this isn't going to be a Han Solo, origin story necessarily. It's going to jump in with him in some, situation. And we don't know anything about it. So I'm withholding judgment on this movie because I'm excited to see more Star Wars. Always excited to see more Star Wars. And
Yeah.
so Han Solo character, it's Harrison Ford. I'm okay with just having what we have of that character. But if they do a good job, they do a good job, and I'm going to love it.
Look, am I going to see this movie? Yes. Am I going to see it 10 times in theaters like The Force Awakens? Probably not. Maybe only 5 times if it's bad. But still, I wish it didn't exist. I'll give him my money, and I'm sure I'll buy it on DVD and Amazon. I'll buy it on everything either way because I love Star Wars, but
Yeah, it's gonna be
not going to be
interesting.
happy about it.
It's gonna be interesting.
But speaking of soulless cash-ins on the 80s and nostalgia that are actually good, Kyle finally started watching Stranger Things.
Stranger
Oh, yes, I
Things.
did. Yes.
All right,
Stranger
initial
Things.
thoughts. How many episodes are you in?
I am 3 episodes in.
Okay.
And
We hyped it up for you.
you did. You hyped
Yeah.
it up. And it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's weirder than I thought it would be.
Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
called Stranger Things.
I know. It's stranger than I thought it would be. But it's cool. It's like, it's not, it doesn't have a TV show feel at all, which is great. It's got a movie feel. Like, I feel like, each episode's just a part of this big movie almost, it seems like.
That's how a lot of Netflix shows are.
Yeah, and I really,
Yeah.
it's a cool thing because I love a great story, and this is a great story so far. It's a little, I don't know, it's kind of all over the place these first 3 episodes. You're trying to figure out how all this fits in and stuff, and
Mystery.
it's
Stranger.
it's very it's got a lot of intrigue, but my wife and I were watching it, and she was like, "Wow, it turned out to be a little stranger than."
Yeah,
I
no,
thought, and I agreed, and so I'm excited to see where the plot goes, and I'm gonna watch, keep watching it, obviously, because I'm enjoying it, and
Yes.
it's cool.
I can't wait for you to finish it. We can really talk about some of the things
Yes.
at the end,
Those kid actors, though, they're great, right?
Yeah, they're good.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
so good.
It's good. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's
I don't watch
infuriating.
things with kids in it
I
for
know.
that reason.
Star Wars, the prequels.
and they're
are-
fantastic.
I won't watch the prequels because
they're
of little kids.
By the time it comes out, they'll be 28.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
we'll see. No, but you mentioned it's like watching individual movies, and I was reading an article recently about Netflix shows, shows specifically made for streaming services, and how we kind of throw around this phrase that it's like watching an 8-hour movie, and things like that. And I think for Stranger Things, that is super true. It's like watching an 8-hour movie.
And I was even thinking about it. If this show was on TV and I had to wait a week to watch episode 2, I don't know if I would have been excited to like go and jump in and watch episode 2 of this just because it has an interesting feel of it, And so I think having it be a streaming service show.
Original, yeah.
I think that's what I really like about the Netflix shows, and this one in particular, though, is like it feels like a movie in that it's one long story told over time, but
Right.
really that's like it's just a book come to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that's always the flaw with books is you have to leave out the nice little moments, little character moments that you like, and with a TV show like this, you get it all.
But what about something like Game of Thrones,
And see-
where I feel like most people, I mean, even though we don't want to wait, binge watching Game of Thrones is just about the same effect as watching week to week.
that's true.
I mean, I don't feel any different watching it week to week versus.
I feel pretty different waiting just because I'm irritated and I don't want to wait. I want to see what's next.
Well, yeah, I mean, we want to watch it.
Yes. But I see what you're saying. It's not necessarily like a different experience or
it just doesn't
story,
feel.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel.
You don't
the
feel
way,
like you have to binge Game of Thrones.
No,
but
it doesn't feel like an 8-hour movie when I binge watch it.
No, I don't know.
There's something different about it. Maybe it's the amount of time that we jump through and the amount of characters and scenes.
Yeah, I think there's just so much going on in it. Maybe that it's just like,
yeah.
Oof.
Well, I recently started watching the new Netflix original, The Get Down.
Okay, is that a TV show or a movie or what?
It's a series.
Okay,
6 episodes, but the average time is over an hour per episode.
What?
The first episode is an hour and a half, which really helps stretch that out. But I don't think any of the 6 episodes are under an hour.
Wow.
They're like 65, 60. I mean, they're up there.
So kind of like Sherlock?
It's really hard to describe. And I've watched 3 episodes. My wife and I watched 3 episodes. And it's Baz Luhrmann, who did Romeo and Juliet and Moulin Rouge. The music is fantastic.
Romeo plus Juliet?
Romeo plus Juliet.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'll
much more. The Leonardo
Yes.
DiCaprio, Jamie Kennedy version.
Yes. John Leguizamo. Come on.
Of course.
And it's well shot. Everyone but what's his name? Jaden Smith.
He's in it.
He's in it, and he's not that great.
Well, I'm not
But
surprised.
I think he's supposed to be on, like, his character is supposed to be on drugs the whole time.
Oh, good casting.
And so it actually, there are moments that are really funny because he'll say something and you can't tell if it's because of the drugs or because of his lack of acting skills. But it's all over the place. And so you watch one episode, like you're watching the first episode, and it just goes on. And you're thinking, okay, they're going to cut it here. Oh, they keep going. Okay, well, here, they're going to finish this little story and then they'll wrap it up. Nope, it's going to keep going. I didn't know it was 90 some odd minutes the first upon watching. The episodes following, you're not really sure where they're going to pick up. It does not feel like a 6-hour, quote unquote, 6-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it feels like.
Are you recommending it? Should I watch it?
As a piece of cinematic art, yes, it's fantastic. Like I feel a lot of Baz Luhrmann's. You'll watch it and you'll, at least the first episode, if you've watched Romeo plus Juliet or you've watched Moulin Rouge, you'll feel it instantly. Now the later episodes are not directed by him. He created it, helped write it, but or was part of the writing team. And he always gets those created by, written by credits. But so far, the first 3 episodes, different directors. He directed the first one, and just, I mean, moments of a character screaming, you just go, "Yep, Baz Luhrmann." The way they weave disco to begin with, and then into the early beginnings of kind of the rap DJ scene, really cool. And I think with how popular electronic dance music is right now, which is our new version of DJ, it's really cool to look at the roots of what spinning really was. So it's cool, but it's not going to be for everyone. It's really not. But it's worth, I think it's worth checking out.
I'll watch it. I'll come back and say what I think next week. I'll watch at least the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I felt emotionally drained after watching 3 episodes. Like I was like, wow, that was like I worked. It felt like I worked, and I wasn't doing anything else. I was focused on.
Your grandparents would probably be so disappointed. The older generation. I felt like I worked.
Felt like I worked. Yeah, and it was a Saturday afternoon. I thought, this will be interesting, and there are moments that are really funny. There are moments that are really, cool. Like that was great. They conquered that. But a lot of it is just like people just getting the crap beat out of them over and over and over, and the bad guys winning, the good guys losing, and it's just it's you. After 3 episodes, like I can't watch anymore.
So it's like Game of Thrones.
Can't watch it. It's a lot like Game of Thrones in that. I would compare it more to timing wise. Compare it more to True Detective season 1.
Ooh, that's a
where there are parts where you're jumping forward in time and jumping back, but for the most part, it's just where is this going? And man, that guy got the crap beat out of him again, and it just sucks. Similar to True Detective, where no one seems to win in that show, at least season 1. We don't want to talk about season 2.
I couldn't.
Couldn't.
If I wanted to.
Haven't seen it. Stopped at 1. Heard
There
2
you
is
go.
better.
Don't even move
That's
forward.
the story of that show, I guess.
Which is sad because
Yeah.
it was such a good season
It was.
that even the director of season 1 said that he felt he left something that was unfinishable.
Right.
Like no one could follow it.
That's the problem with anthology series as a whole, though. I don't know. It's impossible to know what you're going to get the next season.
Right.
Like, you have some of the same crew, but
People seem to love American Horror Story, and
They
that's
do.
anthology.
people do. I don't. So
No.
I guess that's, to me, the problem is that I can't really get invested. American Horror Story, I have bigger problems because I just don't like the writing.
Well,
But
that doesn't help. No, and season 1 is definitely some of the worst writing I've ever seen.
right, and that's the
I
only
enjoyed
season I've
season
made it
2
through.
until the end, toward the ending. Season 3 couldn't make it through.
Season 3 is my wife's favorite and my sister's favorite, and it's like the cheesiest, schlockiest crap I've ever
It's-
sat through in my life. Like,
It's dull. It's all
yeah,
over the place.
It's like worse than the movie The Coven or whatever.
Is that the one Lady
Craft.
Gaga's
It's
in?
worse than The Craft. No, season
No,
5
she's in
is
season
Lady
5.
Oh,
Gaga.
jeez.
Yeah.
3 is
3 is
like,
the witches.
yeah, they're all witches, but it's like a bad
4 is Freak
teen
Show.
drama. Ugh.
And what I've seen of Freak Show, I liked way more than watching Coven.
Which everyone hated. Freak Show when it came out.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just I've
It's a
I've
very
always been
divisive show.
a freak show carnival. I mean, I love it. I love freak show shows.
Yeah,
And I never touched season 5. I don't.
I haven't. I
don't
think
know.
the show's kind of died down in its hype. That's usually what happens around season 5 for
Yeah.
anything other than Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad.
Yeah. What was season 5?
Of
Asylum.
yeah, no, 5 is the
Hotel.
hotel. Yeah,
Asylum is 2.
Asylum's 2.
But the new one, they've already talked about season 6. And I can't remember.
I'll ask
Yeah.
my wife. She'll know.
Comment. Tell us what it is. And
Then we won't talk
Then
about
we
it
won't
next
talk
week
about
'cause
it
we
next
don't
week.
watch it. Apparently, none of us do, but we
No.
like to talk about it still.
yeah. Main topic. I think
Main-
it's that time.
Yeah, we've talked enough about other stuff.
All the other topics.
Go Star Wars.
Go Star Wars.
Yeah.
So this week we really want to talk about fan remakes, but I think we need to start with a piece of news. Scott,
Yeah.
you want to start us in on that?
I'll talk about. For me, this topic came about because I was just kind of randomly happened upon a Pokemon fan creation called Pokemon Uranium, which is like a full-fledged Pokemon game that somebody made with over 150 Pokemon in the Pokedex. I think like 130 of them are new ones that they created.
But there are some
Yeah,
repeats.
there's some carryovers. The game's been in production for like 5 years,
Wow.
over that maybe, a long time. And I saw it came out, and I was like, "That's cool." And in the comments, some people were talking about it's great that you actually managed to have this come out because other things like so many other things have been cease and desisted
Right.
by Nintendo. And I saw some links to like a Metroid 2 fan remake, and we all know games that have been cease and desisted. And I was like, well, this one made it out. That's nice. And then today I look online, and this game got cease and desisted after 1.5 million downloads by
Jeez,
Nintendo.
1.5 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and it's I presume free, maybe
Free.
donation based.
I don't even know if there's donations. It's
Really?
just free up to download. They had the link on the site, and now the website says basically just explains that they
Right.
heard
Yeah.
that Nintendo was gonna file on them, so they pulled down to respect their wishes, and they said, "We don't have anything to do with anybody else sharing the game, but if they want to share it, they can."
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, because it's a computer file. I mean, you
Yeah,
can share it as
can't-
easily as you
once
can
it's
share
up
anything
on the
else.
internet, it's out there forever. Like,
Forever.
Well, and I'm pulling it up now because I do want to read it because I think what we hear in this letter or on their website now,
Yeah.
has become commonplace today. I mean, it's almost you could take it from just about anyone else's. You could take it from the Pokemon Go third-party apps. What
Mhm.
they have said after receiving more than 1.5 million downloads of our game. Is that no? That's not. Yeah, 1.5 million. Sorry, it's really small print. We have been notified of multiple takedown notices from lawyers representing Nintendo of America. While we have not personally been contacted, it's clear what their wishes are, and we respect those wishes deeply. Therefore, we will no longer provide official download links for the game through our website. These apps, we're getting the same thing, the Pokemon Go apps.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a good thing for Nintendo to do or a bad thing for Nintendo to do?
Great question, Tyler. Expertly phrased. I think it's within their rights to do it.
Okay.
I think it's a dick move to do it at the same time.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the other opposite side here because I think that people, they made a Pokemon game, right?
Yes,
but
with
they're
mostly
not
original
Pokemon.
creations.
But they're not Pokemon. So they made a game that's the same as another game. Like, that shouldn't be, you should take that down, right? Like, that's their creation,
Well,
and somebody else just kind of made
what
a game
if they
to be
didn't call it Pokemon? What if they called it
Fakemon.
I mean, I'm sure there's,
monster catching uranium?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen, random games like that on the iTunes or on, the App Store on my phone where it's, similar concept.
Yeah, just like Pokemon.
So,
or just like
that's a little gray area, but when they call it, hey, this is a Pokemon game, they should probably just, what were they expecting? Nintendo to not attack them
Here's
and
my
take it
thing.
down?
I guess if it were me, if somebody made a Destiny Cops video, I would just take it as flattery that somebody is passionate enough about what we do and they want something new so badly that they just did it on their own.
That's true, but you're
Have
not
you
a
watched some of those,
corporation.
though?
You're not a
they're awful.
the remakes of Destiny.
I get
Yes.
that. All right, let me
They're the
phrase it this
best.
way. Where does the line get drawn then? What's the difference between this and a remix or a cover song?
Mm-hmm. Well,
this
and
is claiming that this is Pokemon.
Well,
but
but it says it's a fan game clearly in it. What about the Metroid 2 remake that they pulled down?
That's
That's
the
the same
same-
thing as a
it's a-
cover song.
it's a game that,
But it's what's the difference between a song and a game?
a song
There's
you
a
do
lot
have
different.
to pay. If you want to bring out a cover, you do have to pay for it.
All right. So
Otherwise, it will
could
get.
this,
Yeah,
So
I have
why
to
is there
pay
not
royalties.
why is there not
I'll
a
tell-
system in place for me to pay to
Now,
remake
that's
a game?
interesting.
I think that this
That's
is
interesting.
It's
you can be
both
mad
artistic.
at Nintendo, but you can all. I think people who are mad that this is that Nintendo's attacking this game should also be a little upset with the makers of this game that they didn't at least try to make some sort of connection with Nintendo because they have this game that people want to play. Obviously, 1.5 million downloads.
Mm-hmm.
They should make a deal with, hey, we'll charge money for this and you'll get some, but can we get money for this? Because essentially they're not really making money off this, right? You said it was free.
Well, it can't be.
Yeah, it was free. They just
You should
released it for
at least
free.
try to get them because what were they expecting? Just
No,
the
and
company
I
to
do
not
wonder that
attack them
if
and
maybe
just say, oh,
maybe that's
yeah,
why
you
they
can-
didn't approach Nintendo. Because you approach Nintendo and now you put the ball in their court and they go, no, you cannot make this. That's 5 years,
down the drain.
down the drain.
Yeah.
I
So-
don't know. I mean, it's an interesting question. How can we? I mean, here's the question. I mean, Destiny could essentially approach you guys and
Yeah,
ask
Bungie
you not.
could. So
your
where do you
Bungie,
draw the
yeah.
line then, Kyle? Because we use another thing's game to
I think
create
there's-
content ourselves. We're actually just directly
I
stealing
think
their content.
I think if we made a game that we called Destiny 2, I think that would be a problem. I think Bungie would come after us, and
This game wasn't based on. I mean, it's based on Nintendo's property. What if this game was parodying Pokemon? Then what if it just had joke Pokemon like fart at you?
See,
That's a parody.
But
so
then they
that's-
don't.
you're
They
making
couldn't
it
call it Pokemon.
You can still, as long as it's parody. I feel like you could still probably pull it off. But
Like-
I don't know. Like dumb
I
Pokemon.
don't know.
You
Parody-
call it Pokemon Poop Fest, and then that's parody.
Maybe
Yeah.
it could. I mean, that's at least a little bit more of a gray area rather than just
parody
calling,
is
hey,
much
here's a,
is much. Yeah, it was
here's
much
a
clearer.
Pokemon game. No, it's
See,
I
what's
don't know.
interesting, I've seen other companies embrace fan games and fan creations, and I think that's the smart way to do it. Like Mega Man, there was a game, Mega Man Cross Street Fighter, that they made, which was you played as Mega Man, and the boss of each level was a Street Fighter character. And what Capcom did was they just said, hey, we like that game. We'll pay for you to distribute it. We'll distribute it ourselves. Yeah, they just made
Well,
it available
and I
to
think
fans.
there are ways to go about that companies have gone about. What would have been the ideal way to do this? I mean, Kyle has said that maybe approaching Nintendo before.
Which would immediately get them shut down.
I feel like it. So what does Nintendo gain by doing this?
That's the question I have. What reason do they have to pull it down other than that they can?
Yeah.
It's hard. Somebody's using your product. Someone's using your name, your trademark.
And we can't argue that they're not making anything off of it. They're not making money. They're not profiting directly. Yeah. But if I'm part of a group that goes and makes a full-fledged video game, and then now it's out there, I can leverage that into another position, another job, whatever. Yeah. So in a sense, you're making something off of someone else's.
You gain from it.
You gain in some way, and I think that's Nintendo's argument. But if what it comes down to is, okay, let's say we can't remake, we can't parody, we can't do all of this. How do we love the game? When nothing, I mean, we do have a new Pokemon coming out, and maybe that's where
Pokemon is one that I'll give you, that they make things in Pokemon, so I can understand that they don't want direct competition to their Pokemon game coming out, even though I don't think a game that is limited to PC only is direct competition to a mobile Pokemon game.
Right.
If anything, Pokemon Go is their stronger competition, and they created it. But something like a Metroid 2 remake for a series that they haven't made a game out of since the Wii, and it was a terrible one that everyone hated. They haven't made a good game out of it since Metroid Prime 3. This is a remake of a Game Boy game, essentially. Yeah. I don't know what their reason is to not want it.
It would be nice. I think it would really, it'd be nice for them to extend a branch and to do this, but I think it's unreasonable to expect that. To expect Nintendo to say, oh, no, yeah, this is fine. You can have your own Pokemon game, and if it sucks, it sucks.
I don't expect them to do it, and I agree. Like I said, I think they have the right to do it, but I still feel like it just makes them come off like kind of like dicks for doing it.
It does, especially when there's other companies out there that embrace it, like the Mega Man thing.
Or even think about fan fiction in books. Nobody shuts down fan fiction sites. My fan fiction Harry Potter is getting torn down by J.K. Rowling.
It's not threatened at this point.
And that's exactly the same thing. To me, you're writing a story set in this person's
world. I would say yes.
That's
Pokemon
pretty
Uranium
close.
is fan fiction.
Yeah, it's just a fan fiction game. And I don't know. I feel like it should be okay, but I get why they can take it down. It doesn't matter. It's out there anyway. I might download it now out of spite. I wasn't going to play it before, but I might now just because they took it down. But what's weird to me is Nintendo, they don't always pull things down, because I know the Mother 3, Earthbound, whatever you want to call it. The translation is still out there, and obviously Nintendo knows about that.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's very popular. It's well known.
Yeah.
And I think I have to wonder if it all comes down to your game, your Pokemon game, is too similar to the stuff that that kids can still buy from us.
That probably.
Whereas remaking with Metroid, that is why it makes no sense. Because
that's the one that I don't.
If I go out and buy Metroid 2,
which you couldn't even do from them, they don't sell it.
They're not going to make money off of it unless they have intentions of bringing it to the Virtual Console. I don't know if it's on the Virtual Console.
I'm not even sure.
If it is. Now you're saying you can have it for free or you can buy it from Nintendo, and I understand why Nintendo would want to take it down.
If I would do what Kyle said, if I were Nintendo, with a remake that fans had put so much effort into, I'd be like, can we just buy this remake from you?
The Mother 3 translate, people want that to be brought over.
The guy who did the translation for Mother 3 has even said, Nintendo can use my he's a professional video game translator who's worked on games at Nintendo before.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of, I feel like the bigwigs sitting around and not, we might look at this, or why don't we bring out a new Zelda and make a bunch of money?
Why don't we just,
or try to make a bunch of money. We'll see.
They don't make a bunch of money on anything right now other than Pokemon, probably. So that one, I guess. Take down Pokemon Uranium, fine. But Pokemon Sun and Moon better be good.
Yeah, no, and I do wonder if that's their reasoning in there. It would be great if Nintendo would tell us why. But as soon as they tell us why, you set that precedent, Yeah. And now we always have to explain ourselves and all of that. It's got to be that it's too similar to the games that are still available for purchase from them.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's weird for a kids game company that I feel like wants to encourage creativity and going out there to somebody loved your game so much that they wanted to make their own game of it, and then to shut it down is a little weird, but I'll take it for Pokemon. But a weird one too, Square Enix does stuff like this too. I've seen for multiple Chrono Trigger remakes
Yeah.
in my time. And Chrono Trigger is a game like, what are they making off of that? Why do they shut down that?
I don't know. I know you can. There's the DS version. Can you still buy that?
I have no idea where you would buy it new.
Yeah, I don't know. My copy was
I think
used.
you can buy Chrono Trigger maybe on the PlayStation 3, like
Might be.
like on the PlayStation Store. But these, I feel like anybody who is downloading a remake, like a 3D remake of a Super Nintendo game, probably already owns a version of it. Yeah, and isn't starting out that way.
Well, and here's what's worse, in my opinion, is we have so many. Square Enix is a great example. They keep bringing out mobile apps, and they are so bad. They are terrible, and they're either one just buggy, glitchy, freeze fests, or they're actually playable if you want to spend $100. And they're all, they're all Final Fantasy similar, and it's recycling of ideas, but they suck.
Yeah.
Why not give someone a chance? Give someone out there, a coder who can develop a game on their own free time.
Yeah.
That's better than your trash.
It seems like a really cheap,
Slap
good
your name
option
on it.
to,
Yeah.
you
Does,
know,
right?
to go for.
Hey,
if you're one of
Pokemon
these
Uranium, we'll give you $50,000,
Right?
yeah,
and
like,
we'll slap our
And
name
those
on
guys
it.
would probably be pretty happy with that compared to nothing.
I mean, compared to nothing, yes. Now, what they should be paid, right?
Yeah.
is a totally different story
Different
for 5
matter.
years of
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
But you look at it like any other startup company, right? You did this on your own for nothing. Now I'm going to buy it from you so I can market the crap out of it and raise the price, 1,000 times, but I'm going to pay you off. Are you happy with that or not? And it's either we take this down or you let us put our name on it. And maybe that's the answer. I don't know.
I guess I see it like almost like two different situations where there's the Pokemon Uranium one where Nintendo still makes Pokemon games actively, so this is competition to them. So I can understand shutting it down. And maybe the people who made this game are just using the brand name to cash in so they get more downloads.
Could be.
That's one way to look at it, a cynical way, that they're just stealing the IP name because they don't want to have to make their own game and, earn anything on their own merit. The other one is just really passionate fans who aren't getting anything, like with Chrono Trigger.
Right.
And they just want something.
Yeah.
So they set out and make it themselves, and they just say, I'm going to share it with other people. It's the same as like a Power Rangers fan movie on YouTube to me. Like, I really want a new cool Power Rangers thing. I'll make it myself, and I'll put it on YouTube, and then other people can like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, in the comments, let us
Yeah.
know how you feel. Write us. Send us
Let
letters.
us know how you feel about anything. How are you feeling today?
How are you feeling today?
Probably pretty good if you watch Destiny Cup's finale.
yeah,
Yeah.
true that.
Oh, is that up?
Oh yeah,
Is
it
that-
is up.
Oh, yeah,
Is that on YouTube?
Have we talked about that already?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
yeah, we have. Oh, yeah.
It's been
there.
so long. All right. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on the Husky Raid podcast.
On iTunes, yeah.
On iTunes, yes. And
Or SoundCloud.
Or SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
We're on SoundCloud. I think it's just Husky Raid on SoundCloud.
Search Husky Raid in Google and you'll find it. Husky Raid Big Wet Butts and you'll find it.
Husky Raid on the darknet. We are
Yeah.
We are
The
officially on the
darknet.org.
darknet.
Yeah.
On the
Search
darknet.
Husky Raid.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you want to hear next week. Have a good one.
yeah.